Good evening, I am Angel, welcome to the channel. On the 19th of January I got this book and in 2 days I finished reading it. So much was my expectation for Plata como cancha, one of the most polemic books in Peru in the last years. So controversial that there is a lawsuit and a sentence for aggravated defamation. Let's see. The literal meaning of this book is money like popcorn, which refers to the lots of money one can get through business and politics, not necessarily in this case by being honest. The author is investigative journalist Christopher Acosta, specialized in topics such as corruption, financial fraud, and organized crime, as it is said here. And the protagonist is the Peruvian politician and businessman Cesar Acuña. Published by Aguilar, publishing company belonging to Penguin Random House, in February 2021, can you believe that the edition I have is the 7th reprinting? From this very month, January 2022. In 165 pages and 8 chapters, this book deals with what the subtitle summarizes very well in 7 words: secrets, impunity, and fortune of Cesar Acuña. But who is Cesar Acuña? A really powerful politician who has been the mayor of the city of Trujillo, the 3rd biggest in Peru, governor of La Libertad region, of which Trujillo is the capital city, congressman and candidate for the presidency of Peru. He is also an entrepreneur, owner of Cesar Vallejo University, among others, and it is here where the political and business boundaries become blurred, start to converge. In the last 2 decades, his image has started to rise, making him well-known and influential. I will quote directly the first 2 sentences of the back cover. This is neither an official profile nor an authorized biography, but it's rather the exposure of a procedure, of some behavior. Let's see. The first chapter, How to Silence a Dispossessed Author, deals with Acuña's former professor, Otoniel Alvarado Yarse, whose book Educational Policy, Concepts, Reflections and Proposals was later published by Acuña. Here we start to see, always according to Mr. Acosta's book of course, a recurring pattern, a modus operandi which we will see throughout the book. An extrajudicial agreement with a lot of money involved in exchange for withdrawing the criminal lawsuit and being in silence on this topic forever. There are 2 picturesque phrases, less funny than dangerous. The first, on the cover of such book it doesn't say I am the author, my name merely appears. The second, more famous, says, it's not plagiarism, it's just copying. No comments. Chapter 2, This House is Not for Sale, is about how, on the one hand, Cesar Acuña narrates his infancy in the village of Ayaque in Cajamarca, in the northern Andes, as one suffering from extreme poverty, while his brother Virgilio praises the organic food he ate and big space in which they lived as children. Evidently, the first account proves to get more sympathy among potential voters. The chapter goes on to reveal conflicts because of the creation of Señor de Zipán University by siblings, Virgilio and Cesar, but in the end only one of them becomes the owner. Again, we can see the modus operandi, money in exchange for withdrawing the lawsuit and being in silence forever. There's even another conflict between Virgilio and his sister, Maria Grimanesa. The reason? Some pieces of land, as stated on page 43. The 3rd chapter, The Mystery of Capital, is about the salaries of Acuña, the net profits of Cesar Vallejo University, his states regarding shopping abroad, and how all of this has its very origin in the cram school he started in Trujillo, a rented building which he didn't want to evict, according to page 51. Also, this chapter tells us how APRA, or American Popular Revolutionary Alliance, traditional political party which is now nemesis of Alliance for Progress, party founded by Acuña, paradoxically helped not only to create the latter, but also contributed to the development of Cesar Vallejo University. As stated on page 54, nobody knows who they work for. The fourth chapter, The Feast of Social Subsidies, is about the use of money belonging to the municipality of Trujillo for the sake of handouts, that is, to give between 1,000 and 3,000 soles to comedores populares or community kitchens, and in this way votes are guaranteed. Those handouts are given not only to community kitchens but also public schools, not only to institutions but also individuals. As well as subsidies, there are celebrations for the municipal workers. The author says that he asked Acuña about all of this. His reply? It's on page 69. I have made sure this does not look as embezzlement. No more words needed. Chapter 5. How to divide a fortune when love is over. Maybe the most uncomfortable part of the book, because even the rape of a minor in 1988 is mentioned, and the modus operandi we already know. Also, it deals with Acuña's relationship with Rosa Núñez, who is now his ex-wife, and the problems the couple had, including an extramarital affair. Reading everything Acuña had to cede to his ex-wife, all that money and property, is unbelievable. And again, the recurring pattern, you know what I mean. Chapter 6. The thesis, the degree and the PhD deals with an issue which I reckon has been a favorite among the media, perhaps more than others. The accusation against Acuña for allegedly committing plagiarism when writing his doctoral thesis at the Complutense University of Madrid, Spain. Accusation of which, as in all the other cases mentioned in the book, he got away with. And it is the university which has had its reputation affected. The same suspicion of plagiarism goes for his thesis at the University of the Andes in Bogotá, Colombia. The author is surprised, and he has a reason for that, by the fact that Acuña's thesis is restricted to the public. It was Acuña who ordered that, even though, as stated on page 119, the aim of every researcher is for his works to be promoted. Chapter 7 is called A University with a Political Party and focuses on the political calculations of Alliance for Progress during Martín Vizcarra's impeachment, the suspicious relationship Acuña and Vladimiro Montesinos had in the very year 2000, and the coercion which some workers of Cesar Vallejo University were victims of, so as to, through their bank accounts, deposit money as contributions to the party's political campaigns. Other university workers didn't even know they were contributors to such campaign. So this book reveals how the university was used for political purposes, and the author says the following on page 149. Misusing university funds on political activities is not only prohibited by the current university law, but is considered an ethical failure during a presidential election. The last chapter, not numbered, is called The King. Well, because it is said that there is a Mexican song, very, very famous, and it is the favorite song of Acuña. If you read the lyrics, you might know why. And synthesizes something evident throughout the books. Acuña's right-hand men, and to what extent they have influence at the judiciary so as to get away with anything he has been accused of. I have counted the overwhelming number of 24 crimes on page 160. It is not surprising then that Acuña has set a lawsuit against the author, Christopher Acosta. By reading this book, one feels like a bomb going off on our face, in our hands. It is shocking, providing what's written in this book is true, how an individual might become so powerful and the implications that power has had in past and present. The author has been careful enough at the end of each chapter to explain what sources he has used and his research process. A research that has taken such a long time, a thorough investigation. He has checked plenty of files, legal documents and newspaper articles, as well as testimonies and interviews to find out more about this man, who has intended and intends to be the president of Peru. I have a position after reading the book, but in the midst of such media scandal, I do invite you to read it critically. Even though we might be tempted to immediately believe every little thing written here. In the trade-off between the right to honor and privacy, and the national right to know so important affairs that involve what is legal or not, I conclude it is essential that in our country, a country criticized for having an incipient public opinion and producing lots of dishonest lawyers and dishonest politicians, as well as for being a paradise for clientelism, assistantialism or handouts, transfugism, a very Peruvian word to mean moving from one political party to another, and other isms, we can read critically, be informed by different sources, educate ourselves and debate. This book, I believe, contributes to the debate on this issue. Bye-bye.